In this final part of my level crossing project, I have at last managed to fully automate operations, getting lights and gates working together, all triggered by remote sensors. So on the approach of a train, the warning light sequence starts and the gates close to traffic, only opening again when the entire train has passed and the crossing is clear. The lighting controller and sensors are all covered in previous videos, so my job here is to get the two Raspberry Pi Picos talking to each other, so the triggers for the lights also operate the gates. I've actually now got all four just about working, but some last minute hiccups meant that didn't quite make the edit in time, and rather than hold everything up, I thought I'd save that for a follow-up, which hopefully should be out very soon. At the end of the last video, I had got the gates opening and closing by themselves, with buttons operating tiny servos, hidden underneath the crossing, and it's from there that I'm going to pick up for this video, replacing the manual push buttons with signals from the lighting controller and the brake beam sensors that it uses to start and stop the sequence. I'll also be able to refine operations, so my gates run a little bit smoother, and set about detailing the modelling by painting my 3D printed gates and blending the bases into the crossing so no one knows the servos are there. Eventually I want to hide away the gate controller too and get it powered from the track, just like the lighting controller, hidden underneath my signal box. And that's where we're going to start, by adapting the code to add some outputs to trigger the opening and closing of the gates. Usually the Pico that runs the light sequence gets on with it all by itself, powered by the track voltage. But to access and edit the code, we're going to need to connect it to a host computer. And having made sure the usual power is off, plug it in with a USB cable and launch Thonny to get at the programs. On the layout I'm doing this with another Raspberry Pi, but you could use a laptop or even a PC. And it'll be on my Mac that I demonstrate the changes I'm making, where it's easy to record the screen. My main.py program is the one that runs automatically. Like our gate controller, this originally just used buttons to start and stop the sequence. And it's to this that I added the brake beam triggers, keeping the start button for testing, although the stop button is now redundant. We essentially want to keep the program the same, making sure that any changes don't interfere with the timings of the light sequence by introducing any delays. Trying to integrate the code for the gates into this program would have played havoc with this, so instead all I want to do is send some signals as outputs from this Pico to be picked up as inputs on the other one, where any operations can run independently. For this I need to set up two pins as outputs, one to trigger the closing of the gates and the other to open them again once the lighting sequence is over. The choice of pin doesn't really matter, and I've just gone for two that are most accessible for plugging in the wires that will eventually go to the gate controller. Now we need to add in when those signals are sent, the first being just after the amber sequence, just before the wigwag starts. In real life it will be a bit longer until the gates close, but as my layout is so small, I have to speed everything up a bit to get the crossing clear before the train actually arrives. When the program gets to this bit, all the LEDs are out, and adding a brief pulse from my output signal will trigger the closing of the gates without introducing any further delays, while the gates themselves are actually closing. Likewise, I want to add in a line of code to initiate the opening of the gates, but only when my train has completely passed the crossing and the beam of the stop sensor has been restored. Pausing briefly before sending the program right back to the beginning, where we want everything to reset, ready to be triggered once more by the arrival of the next train. And just to make sure no lights are on or signals being sent, I just want to return all of those values to 0. Which reminds me, I've forgotten to turn off the close signal, so I just need to go down and add another little bit of code, copying and pasting after that brief pause and changing the value to 0, the equivalent of a momentary press of my previous button, all without altering the timings of my light sequence. Now it's time to put that to the test, but just at the moment my gate controller isn't quite ready, so I've pulled together a simple tester, another Pico with some LEDs attached, one to light up when the gate close signal arrives, and another for the gates open, resistors protecting the LEDs. The programming couldn't be simpler. I've got 2 pins set up to receive the signals and 2 to output to the LEDs, lighting them up when the inputs are activated. As well as testing the code on the lighting controller, this gives us a pretty good idea about how to trigger the gates when we come to that. As the program on our test Pico is also called main.py, that'll run automatically as soon as we power up, But before we do that, we need to wire up to the outputs from the lighting controller, also plugged in but not yet powered up. To connect, we've got 3 jumper wires, a yellow one for the closed gate signal and red for gates open. These link the output pins and the input ones that we specified in the code for each controller. And then we need a black wire going between one of the ground pins on both. Now when we power up, each will run its own main.py program, although nothing will happen until we trigger the brake beam, initiating the lighting sequence. And when we get to the bit where the signal's sent, the LED on our test Pico will light up. And likewise, when we simulate a train passing, the other one will flash when it receives the signal. So let's see how that works in practice, with an actual train breaking the first beam to start the lights, and flashing the gates closed signal as the wigwag starts, which continues uninterrupted even when the loco breaks the second beam, only stopping when that's re-established, also triggering the gates open signal. Now it's time to get back to our gate controller, and this is pretty much where we got to in part 2, with wiring and Pico soldered to the Monkmake's proto PCB. The big change is the power supply for the servos, and instead of the 5V output from the Pico, I've got a 3.7V rechargeable Lipo battery connected via a Pimoroni Amigo Pro charger, much better suited to our miniature servos, which are connected to the controller as before, just with some extension wires. Our buttons are soon to become redundant, so I've added an extra header for the inputs, pins 10 and 13, just like on the tester, and it's to these I'm going to plug some slightly longer wires from the outputs on the lighting controller. Gates open to 13, black wire to connect the grounds, and the gates close input to pin 10, just like we had it on the tester. You can find a full schematic of all the wiring on my website, as well as the final versions of the code, which we come to update now. With the Pico plugged into our host computer, we can once again access the program using Thonny. We'll no longer be using the buttons, so I've grayed those out by adding a hash at the beginning of each line. Instead, I've added 2 inputs, exactly the same as our testing rig. The rest of the setup is the same as before, but now instead of the trigger from the push of a button, we've got the signal from the lighting controller, just like on the tester. But rather than just lighting an LED, this will set our gates in motion, closing with the first signal and opening again once the light sequence is over. And still attached to our host for now, we can run the code and try it out, pressing the test button for convenience. My lighting controller is once again powered by the DCC voltage, automatically running its main.py program, now sending the brake beam signals to the gate controller, the hardwired connections, making everything a little bit smoother, although I still need to tweak the timings a bit. I've also installed my gates the wrong way round, but that's an easy fix, which I can sort out when they're painted. Then, with everything looking good, let's try it out with a train, an old Lima Class 33 that I've chipped and repainted, adding flush glazing to the windows. You can find various loco conversions in other videos, so if you want to know more about that and other modelling projects, don't forget to subscribe. But now back to this one, our loco breaking the first beam, triggering the lights, which in turn signal to close the gates. Perhaps a little bit fast at the moment, but our train is approaching rapidly, and we do want to get them clear of the track before it arrives, and likewise make sure it's completely passed before opening them again. Now let's try the same thing, but this time with a complete train, with a couple of carriages. The initial beam break is simple enough, triggering the lights and now the gates. And while that could all be done with mechanical switches, it's when the train has passed the crossing that my microcontroller solution comes into its own. The second brake beam set at an angle across the track, the emitter hidden away in that junction box, so the beam remains broken, even between carriages, our gates opening only when the last one has passed. With everything working, it's now time to tidy the whole thing up, the first being the controller board, which now we don't need the buttons. I've managed to simplify even more, soldering a similar Pico to a piece of Vero board, the connective strips of which I've scraped away down most of the middle, leaving a few for the power supply for the servos, which have soldered headers just like before. Without the buttons, this is all much more straightforward, with just a pair of soldered headers for the wires from the Amigo Pro. The servos plugging in the same way as before, just with extension cables, so the controller can be that little bit further away. Eventually we'll get it mounted on the layout itself, with all 4 servos properly wired in, along with permanent connections for the inputs from the lighting controller, which I just changed to be side by side, now using pins 10 and 11. The program updated accordingly, and it's that's going to run automatically as soon as we power up both the Pico and the Amigo Pro, which handily has its own button. The crossing itself has had a bit of a makeover too, with the gates painted and the edges of the mounts filled so they start to blend in with the surface. I've also straightened everything up and slowed down the motion of the gate slightly, still not exactly in unison, but close enough for now. Like the details, there's always room for improvement later, and I've still got to get those other 2 gates sorted. But in the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy where I've got to now by running my train round again, breaking the first beam to flash the lights and close the gates. Just the first 2 at the moment, but eventually all 4. And sometime I'll get my gate controller squirreled away, like the Pico for the lighting. And as ever, I'll post something when I do, so don't forget to subscribe or follow on my other socials.